Sammy Davis Jr. was a living legend, an entertainer whose talent could captivate any audience, from singing and dancing to acting and comedy. But behind the glitz and glamour, his life was far from perfect. You won't believe the shocking truth about his financial struggles, his fight with cancer, and the heartbreaking betrayal during his final days. How did the man who seemed to have it all end up in debt and despair? Stay tuned, because what you're about to learn will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about this iconic star. Don't miss this emotional roller coaster into the highs and lows of Sammy Davis Jr.'s extraordinary yet tragic life. The legend behind the curtain. Sammy Davis Jr. was a name synonymous with talent, charm, and groundbreaking artistry. A singer, dancer, actor, and comedian, he became one of the most celebrated entertainers of the 20th century. But behind the dazzling performances, the roaring applause, and the glitz of Las Vegas, there existed a man whose life was marred by financial ruin, illness, and a series of tragic personal struggles. Despite his unparalleled success, Davis's final years were a stark contrast to the life of luxury he had known. In this emotional journey, we explore the highs and lows of his life, the hidden struggles that defined his later years, and the tragic circumstances surrounding his death. Sammy Davis Jr.'s story is one of resilience, generosity, and deep sacrifice. It is a tale that questions how the price of fame and fortune can sometimes come at the cost of one's well-being and legacy. The height of success. Sammy Davis Jr. rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most recognized and beloved entertainers in the world. From an early age, Davis was surrounded by music and performance. Raised by his father, a talented performer, and his uncle, Davis was thrust into the world of show business at just 3 years old. By the time he was a teenager, he was already an accomplished performer, having worked alongside the legendary Will Maston Trio, where he honed his skills under the guidance of tap dancer Howard M. Colbert Jr. Despite the racial discrimination of the time, Sammy Davis Jr. broke through barriers in Hollywood, performing at the top venues, earning a fortune, and capturing the hearts of millions. His remarkable ability to sing, dance, and act made him an icon, and his membership in the infamous Rat Pack solidified his place in history as one of the greatest entertainers of all time. The price of giving. However, beneath the glamorous facade of fame and fortune, Sammy Davis Jr.'s financial troubles were beginning to take root. A man known for his generosity, he showered his loved ones with gifts, taking care of his family and friends. His grandmother Rosa, who had played a crucial role in raising him, received a house and a personal driver, along with other members of his family being generously supported. Yet his large heart and desire to help others led him down a path of financial excess. Davis's lavish lifestyle, coupled with an unrelenting need to provide for those around him, pushed him deeper into debt. He once said, "I make a lot of money, and I spend a lot of money." Unfortunately, this attitude would be his undoing. In the early 1970s, Sammy Davis Jr. became embroiled in a tax shelter scandal. Like many other high-earning entertainers, he invested heavily in tax shelters, such as oil and gas drilling ventures, hoping to reduce his massive tax burden. However, when these investments failed and the IRS cracked down, Davis's financial situation worsened. By 1972, the IRS reassessed his tax shelters, and his debts ballooned to a staggering $15 million by the time of his death in 1990. The quest for redemption. Despite the overwhelming financial pressures, Sammy Davis Jr. continued to maintain his extravagant lifestyle, unwilling to adjust his habits. In an attempt to regain his footing, he began planning a comeback tour. In April 1988, he announced a 12-city tour alongside his close friends, Liza Minnelli and Frank Sinatra. The success of the tour gave Davis a brief sense of hope that his career and finances might recover. However, his declining health soon proved to be an insurmountable obstacle. By 1989, Davis was diagnosed with throat cancer, a diagnosis that would change the course of his life forever. Despite a brief remission, his health deteriorated rapidly, and by January 1990, the cancer had returned. He continued to fight, but the battle was nearing its end. The battle with cancer. Sammy Davis Jr. faced a life-threatening illness with the same determination and resilience he had applied to his career. His decision to undergo radiation therapy instead of opting for surgery was motivated by his desire to protect his voice, his greatest asset. However, the toll the treatment took on his body was immense. Fatigue, hair loss, and difficulty eating soon followed. Davis continued to work, perform, and fight for his life, maintaining an optimistic public image even as his body failed him. By February 1990, rumors began to swirl about Davis's deteriorating condition, but his wife, Altavice, remained steadfast, rejecting any suggestion that he was nearing the end. Tragically, despite his optimism, Sammy Davis Jr. passed away on May 16, 1990, at the age of 64, leaving behind a legacy that would endure far beyond his death. Betrayal and loss. As Davis's health continued to worsen, his final days were filled with both love and betrayal. While his family stood by him, there were those who took advantage of his vulnerability. His home, once filled with warmth and laughter, became a target for opportunists. As Davis lay dying, employees and others looted his home, taking valuable items including his clothing, memorabilia, and jewelry. His wife, Altavice, recalled the devastating moment when she returned home to find that they took everything from us. Everything. There's nothing left here but my name. The financial troubles that had plagued Sammy Davis Jr. throughout his life continued to haunt his family even after his passing. Financial chaos. In the aftermath of Davis's death, his family faced not only the emotional pain of losing a loved one, but also the overwhelming burden of his debts. His widow, Altavice, was left to manage the estate, which included settling millions in unpaid taxes. Despite efforts to liquidate some of his prized possessions through an auction, much of the money raised was insufficient to cover the massive debt left behind. As the financial chaos of Davis's estate continued to unfold, his daughter, Tracy Davis, fought to defend her father's legacy. In contrast to the narrative that painted her mother as a victim of financial ruin, Tracy pushed back, arguing that her father had ensured his family's financial security, leaving behind life insurance policies worth nearly $6 million. A symbol of Davis's struggles and triumphs, Sammy Davis Jr.'s Los Angeles home, which he had secured in the 1950s after making it big in Hollywood, became a symbol of both his success and his eventual downfall. The house, once a gathering place for Hollywood elites and Rat Pack members, was where Davis spent some of his happiest moments. However, it was also where his financial troubles began to take root. The house was later sold and a new luxury home was built on the property in the 2010s. Yet the legacy of Sammy Davis Jr. lives on in the history of that house and the many memories it holds. A legacy of triumph and tragedy. Sammy Davis Jr. Asa life was a complex tapestry of triumph and tragedy. From overcoming racial discrimination to achieving unprecedented success in Hollywood, Davis's career was nothing short of legendary. However, his story is also a cautionary tale about the dangers of excess, the cost of fame, and the consequences of financial mismanagement. Despite the financial struggles and personal hardships, Sammy Davis Jr. remains an enduring icon. His extraordinary talent, resilience, and dedication to his craft still inspiring generations to come. His life serves as a reminder that even in the face of adversity, true greatness is not defined by wealth or fame, but by the ability to rise above life's challenges with unwavering strength and spirit. What an emotional journey through the rise and fall of Sammy Davis Jr., a man who captivated the world but couldn't escape his personal battles. His story is a powerful reminder that no amount of fame or fortune can shield us from life's deepest challenges. But his legacy? That remains immortal. If you're captivated by stories of success, sacrifice, and tragedy, then you don't want to miss our next video. We're diving deep into the rise of Cat Williams, how he went from struggling comedian to comedy legend. From his controversial moments to his undeniable talent, Cat Williams' journey is one that will leave you inspired and shocked at the same time. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on this latest scoop. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.